From Psalm 96 we hear, "Sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord all the whole earth." This is something we surely must do. Participate in the new song that our loving God has given us this night. Christmas Eve, that wondrous, magical, mystical night when we pull ourselves away from the mundane activities, the busyness of the world, and we turn our gaze to that beautiful story of the Holy Nativity. Our hearts beat fast as we sing the old familiar Christmas carols with gusto and excitement and joy. Our voices may even turn a bit hoarse as we sing out with all the delight and expression of love we can muster. This is the night to rejoice. This is the season to proclaim loudly and clearly that our God loved the world of humanity so much that he gave us his Son Jesus to experience this life of ours. Jesus became one of us. Luke's version of the birth narrative of Jesus is beautifully written. Luke was a master storyteller and writer. He captured the essence of that first Christmas, and it does not matter that some of the historical facts may not exactly match with his version. The truth of that most important event, the birth of Jesus, is what truly matters. Did Joseph really gather up his 9-month pregnant wife Mary and take that trip? Did she really have to ride a donkey or walk or ride in a bumpy cart from Nazareth to Bethlehem, a distance of 70 to 80 miles, depending on the route? I hope for Mary's sake this was part of the story. Was there really no room at the inn and they had to go to a stable as represented by our creche here? Did Mary deliver Jesus among the animals as depicted in art throughout the Christian era? There were no paparazzi back then or evening news reporters to officially record this birth. Only a small handful of people discovered it. But did this happen? Of that we can be certain. What we need to do is look at what Luke is telling us. It is true that registrations did take place, but the people usually stayed in their hometowns for their assessment. Luke dramatizes this event to point out the unfairness of being ruled by an emperor and being forced to do things by the emperor's officials. We are given the sense of domination that this couple already experienced as Jews in the time of the Roman Empire. Joseph had to follow the orders given. Now, as most of us know from personal experience, babies decide when to be born, and Jesus was no exception, for the time came for her to deliver the child. This town, however, had no place for them in the inn. Why? Did Joseph not have enough money? Were they just out of luck because they had not made reservations? It was Christmas, after all. Were they in a Gentile part of town and they could not enter into this establishment? They did the best they could and found a feed trough, a manger, and placed this precious newborn son wrapped in bands of cloth into this rough-hewn cradle. This was Mary's firstborn son, an important arrival for any Jewish couple, but there was no immediate celebration. No family or relatives were present, and this was certainly not a respected place to give birth. Then we hear about the shepherds in the fields keeping watch over their flock by night. Shepherds were not regarded highly in this time period. They were considered shiftless and dishonest because they used other people's lands to feed their sheep. Not quite the image we associate with them. But these people received the visit of the Lord's angel, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. Here is where Luke demonstrates the effect of God's Son on earth, for the emperor was already considered the Savior, the supreme God and ruler. For Luke to have the angel proclaim, "Do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all the people. To you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is the Messiah, the Lord." This was an in-your-face statement to Augustus and all who followed him and his ways. This infant was to become more powerful than the emperor, yet he began his life in a most simple, unpretentious way, in a manger, in a stable. The difference is astounding. And who were the witnesses? Animals and simple shepherds, the lowest of the working class who was allowed to see this miracle of all births. Angels came to them to announce this magnificent change in the world. And what did the shepherds do? Did they dismiss this as some weird dream, some ridiculous apparition? The shepherds understood that this was something that only the Lord could have revealed to them. So they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the child lying in the manger. They shared their experience with the new parents and with those who were near the stable. All were amazed, a great clue that the shepherds were convinced and moved by what they saw. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all they had heard and seen as it had been told them. These men had been given a gift far more precious than any person of wealth or higher station in life could ever have. God had shared with them the future, the joy that would come from this baby boy. To quote Isaiah, the people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who lived in the land of deep darkness, in them light has shined. The glory of this night is the remembrance that God cared so much for us then and now to give us this promise. We know this beautiful baby grew to a man and taught us then and now a new way of life, one of tolerance, open acceptance of all, a desire to take care of one another, and most importantly, love for all. Jesus sacrificed his life for us so that we might make this world a better place. We are loved and forgiven and made whole by his example. Jesus grew up in the shadow of the cross and continuously offered us a better way to live our lives. This is what we need to take from Christmas night. It doesn't matter whether this is your first or umpteenth time of coming together to worship at Christmas Eve. As we feel the warmth and love of this night, we must always focus on this mystery that God has invited us to share. This is our entry into a more meaningful life that will continue this Christmas season of 12 days and move us forward into 2015. Each year we need to remember what this birth of Jesus means. We are given the chance to hold this miracle in our hearts and to know that the joy we feel at this time of the year is authentic. Our joy is going to be magnified by that precious gift that Jesus the Christ gave to all humankind. As Mary treasured all these words and pondered them in her heart, that day the shepherds arrived, so must we treasure and ponder in our hearts the arrival of Jesus into our own lives. This special time of our Christian year is vital to us. Christmas gives us a renewal of our understanding of the love God holds for us, allows us to recharge our batteries that have been depleted of so much energy throughout the year, and reminds us of that amazing, everlasting gift we have been given. We are seen by our God and truly loved for all that we have been, are now, and what we will be in the days and years to come. Basil the Great, an early bishop of the church, once preached, God on earth, God among us, no longer the God who gives us law and flashes of lightning, but the God who speaks gently and with kindness in a human body to his kindred. God in the flesh. A most blessed Christmas to each and every one. Amen.